All right, let's go. It is game time. Man, can you feel the excitement in the air? I love that new intro. Today is May 31st. And look, man, before we get anything started, first things first, I got to give a special shout out to all my fellow veterans from all the branches of the service. I want a special shout out to you guys, those guys that are still active duty, to all you guys, your families, all your loved ones. And man, an extra special shout out to all of our service members who unfortunately lost their lives, made the ultimate sacrifice. It was one day after Memorial Day, man. All day yesterday, all I could do is try to stop saying Happy Memorial Day, because truly it's not happy. It's somber. I mean, you happy in the freedoms that those guys have sacrificed their lives to help keep us with. I mean, you're happy for all of the good things and even the bad things that come along with living here in the United States of America. But at the same time, it's kind of one of those holidays, man. And, I'm not really a big holiday guy. But, on that day as a veteran and just a human being, there's a war going on right now. Well, I can't even call it a war, an illegal invasion of a whole country. People's lives are disrupted because one person or a government or some politicians and people are greedy for an area. I know about all this old stuff, territorial, gang-related activity this world is used to having. I mean, they say that's our turf. They say no, it's our turf. The people live there. Man, they got so much of that stuff going on. It's like somebody coming to my house and saying my second bedroom was formerly theirs. So now we got to have a war because they want to reclaim my second bedroom. Why we can't just kind of grow together, get along, realize that all these different cultures are meant to be together, and just leave people alone? So a day after Memorial Day, man, just want to shout out to, all the service members, veterans, active duty. I have two of my own still in the service, proudly served in Louisiana National Guard. And like I said myself, I'm a former Army veteran. So just want to kind of get into that, man. I won't take up too much time talking about it, but I can, got a lot of feelings when it comes to Memorial Day and the sacrifices made to keep us free. So with that said, man, we do have a USFL football game coming up on this Friday night. We have the game between the New Jersey Generals and the Pittsburgh Maulers. Should be an exciting game. I'm looking forward to it, and guys, hang around to see what the CSB pick of that game is going to be. But before we get into that, into the content, let's kind of remember, guys, I am a new show. This is a very, very young channel. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. So please, man, remember, hit that subscribe button, man. Help a brother grow a little bit. We're trying to get this thing together, working hard over here, grinding. Remember, it's free to subscribe. Cost you nothing, man, but it helps the show out. Putting in a lot of work over here, trying to get these things together. I don't know if you saw some of my earlier videos, but I'm going to mention it right now real quickly, kind of what I've been going through. I haven't put a video out in 2 weeks because I had a computer malfunction, had a whole situation that involved my cat Rilo. Rilo chewed the computer wire. As a matter of fact, hang on, I got it right here. Should have had that a little bit closer. But look, this is the old wire. This is the old wire right here, man. Chewed it up completely. So really, I made the last few videos with the wire kind of barely hanging in there until the order came in. It took quite a while for me to order a new one. And for it to come in from Amazon, because for some reason those wires are cheap. But with everything happening, all the stuff on the freight ships out there, it's hard to get stock nowadays and get things on time. But not only did that affect the computer, I couldn't charge the battery anymore. Like I said, it was an old computer, about 10 years old. The battery had really stopped charging and staying charged permanently. But when he chewed the wire, it just made everything operate. I did 2 videos on 4%, and then finally went to 0%. And finally wouldn't work at the same time. And I don't know if you saw my last video on the Michigan Panthers game when I picked them to win. They also had a problem with the free open shot video service I was using. Now, I love OpenShot. It's great. It's very easy to access and to use. I loved it. But every now and then it would glitch. You know, it's open source, so that was going to happen. And I really couldn't afford that for my videos. Great quality and great ease of use on the program. But a few glitches was messing me up. It would cut off, or I would lose work, have to go back and redo stuff. But then the final thing was the lip syncing part. I didn't know how to fix it. I probably could have fixed it, but my words were coming out like I was speaking a foreign language while I was speaking English. So I decided to go ahead on and get a new editing program, one that I'm paying for, and that is Adobe's Premiere Pro. So I spent the last 2 weeks trying to learn how just to get this video out and get it recorded. I actually made a video last week for the weekend's game, and actually I was 4-0 in my picks. However, the video did not upload to YouTube properly because I downloaded it wrong and had to go through a whole process to clean up my computer, which, by the way, brings me to the last piece before I get into the content. I also been blessed with a new computer. No, I didn't rush out and go and buy a new one. I was blessed with one, and we won't go into details, but it was a very, very good situation, and making good use of it, and actually running this video using its camera. I want to compare this video to what my my webcam videos can do. All of them are 1080p. I'm going to do this video here with this one, and then do the next one with the webcam, and compare the two and make a decision on which video we're going to use. But without that said, guys, enough about me, enough about the crying. I just want to let you know a lot of troubles, man, going through. So if you're liking some of the content so far of all my videos, or you're liking the effort, please remember to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. If you've been riding with me, you're already a CSB soldier. I know I'm kind of lengthy on this right now, but remember also hit the like button. I know it's been 2 weeks, man. I haven't put a video out, but like I just described, been going through all type of life changes, trying to get this thing together and get this video production going and get these shows out on a daily, if not regular basis, so you guys can get this information enough time to make good choices there at the sport books. And I just want to say, you know, one last final piece on this. I may have gone through a lot of challenges, but one thing stays the same. I still have the same determination, fearlessness, and determination in the grind to get this done. That's why I'm back at you with this. So with that said, man, let's get right into the content. All right, guys, we didn't get a rankings video out this week, but it doesn't matter. I kind of got you covered nonetheless. Let's just pop it off right quick before we get into what we're doing. Of course, you know those Birmingham Stallions sitting at 7-0 right now. They beat every single team, including my New Orleans Breakers. And so far this season, we have to play them again this week, and hopefully, I'm hoping for and thinking it might be a different outcome, but we get into that next video. So look forward to that video of the New Orleans Breakers and the Birmingham Stallions coming up on Saturday. But the Birmingham Stallions are number 1. New Jersey Generals at 6-1. They have won 6 games now in a row. They're on this video right here. Number 2, my New Orleans Breakers sitting at number 3 at 5-2. Philadelphia Stars 4-3 at number 4. Number 5, Tampa Bay Bandits sitting at 3-4. And number 6, the Michigan Panthers at 1-6. And man, honestly, those Panthers just can't catch luck. They can clearly be one of the top teams. Stats prove it. Look at the numbers for them, guys. They really could be a lot higher, but they just have a lot of unfortunate breaks, and the game's just not going their way so far this season. At number 7, Pittsburgh Maulers at 1-6, and to round it out, the Houston Gamblers at 1-6. And of course, we're going to look at our game, which is the Maulers versus the Generals. It's basically a 1-6 team versus a 6-1. Number 7 versus number 2. And right now, the odds are simply current. We're going to get into that a little bit more detail at the end of the video, in depth on the odds. But quickly, they're sitting around a minus 8.5 for the favorite Generals right now, and that's currently at a minus 110 on FanDuel and DraftKings. And we'll talk a little bit more about, you know, working your sport books in a little while. But you know, the money line is sitting at a plus 335 for the underdog. And the favorite is sitting at a minus 400 right now. And the over and under for the total is sitting currently at a 42.5. And that's holding different value. It got a 108 value, which I think is the best value currently on Barstool. as of today, May 31st, is currently a -110 on FanDuel and DraftKings, and sitting at a little slightly juicy, but not bad, -115 on BetMGM. Okay, guys, so with that said, let's kind of look at some of the standings and the stats and some of the numbers that, that's surrounding why my pick will be what it be at the end of this video. So sit tight as I pull this some of these stats up, and let's get with it. All right, guys, let's jump right into, let's look at first some of the key players that's going to be involved in this game. Now, I want to really start off at the quarterback position. Pulling it up right now on the screen. You guys can take a look. I want to talk about quarterback Vad Lee. I mean, the guy came in. It was actually his second game. If you remember, he's been on the team for 3 starts. I mean, it's a Pittsburgh team that's gone through several different types of quarterbacks this season. I think Vad Lee, it's kind of an odd name to me, guys, so work with me. But Vad Lee is, I believe, the 4th Pittsburgh quarterback this season. And remember, he was the hero last week or week before last when he came out and he got them the victory, man. He came out, had a great game, seemed to have everything turned around. But then he got to start this past weekend. I think he played a pretty decent game, but it's kind of weird because this guy has been bouncing around different spring leagues and he's tried out for different NFL teams, and it's kind of really hoping to showcase himself in the USFL. And I think he's kind of done that. I mean, he is a starting quarterback for the team. But let's just take a closer look at him right now. He's sitting there with 426 passing yards. But at the end of this game, I don't know if you noticed, if you watched the game, he got benched. And it was basically because he got a little bit heated. I think he was emotional. Coach very much, you can see in one play, coach sitting there fussing at him, telling him just do his job. And some kind of way, he just made a lot of mistakes. It really kind of cost him the game. So he went from 1 week being a hero to being a little bit of the GOAT and maybe in the doghouse slightly. But we'll see. Hopefully he'll bounce back, because the other quarterback, Rivers, came in and actually passed. And you can see it sitting here on the screen, bringing up a little bit higher. He's not doing too bad in his 2 starts at 42 completions on 79 yards. Throwing for 426 yards total yardage there, and so far on the year has 3 passing touchdowns. The problem with him, though, guys, is that those interceptions are killing him. 3 of them, and he's just not reading the coverage as well as he needs to. Sitting at a 103.4 quarterback rating currently, and he's been sacked 5 times. And that's part of the whole problem with the whole quarterback rotation with the Maulers. I mean, their quarterback, their line is just not protecting the quarterback. Is not good in good production, and as you can see, that kind of affects them overall in the offensive side of the ball. Now he's doing okay, so he's going to be a starter unless they bring in another quarterback yet again. And I hope that's not the case, and hopefully Mr. Lee gets a good chance and has a good game this weekend. In the running game there, Madre London is leading the team with 351 rushing yards currently, and Mr. London, along with Mr. Garrett Groshek there, both have 1 rushing touchdown. But I mean, let's just take a look at it right quick. Overall production for the Maulers has just been dismal. I mean, in 7 games, London hasn't started, but leading the team with 351 yards rushing with a 4.4 yard per rush average. That 1 touchdown, I mean, he had a longer 37, but overall, I mean, 79 attempts, 4.4 yards rushing average. And he's averaging about 11 touches per game. Compare that to the other running back, Groshek, who's sitting at 256 rushing yards. Almost 100 yards less. And he started all 7 games and had the ball 10 times more with 89 rushing attempts. But he's basically getting about 12.7 touches a game, but also only has just 1 touchdown and a long run of 15 yards. So clearly the running game for the Maulers is just not getting it done. Where they kind of shine a little bit there and have a little bit of life is right here. Wide receiver. Basically, they're a one-man show. Gotta give them credit. I mean, I'm not gonna take nothing away from Bailey Gaither there. Bailey Gaither is a solid wide receiver. As you can see here, their stats up on the board. We can compare both of them. I mean, 3 stars to 2 stars. Both of them have played in only 5 games due to injury and stuff like that. But primarily, you can see the difference in targets right there. 51 targets to Gaither's 35. And you compare that to the 4 starts of Mr. Hardaway there in the 7 games he's played in, and 37 targets. So clearly Walker is the number 1 guy there. 29 receptions, guys. 318 yards. Now Gaither's right behind him with 315 yards, but just not getting the production after catch, because if you look here at the yak yards, look at it right there. If you can't see it, I'll say it's 61 yak yards for Walker and 33 for Gaither. So, clearly the man's getting it done overall. But not only is he getting it done, he has a third. Both of them have some pretty long, 32 and 37 respectively. But he's not only getting it done in the passing game, guys. Mr. Walker's getting it done in the kick return game with 344 kick return yards, as well as, I believe, all-purpose yards. He has 662 all-purpose yards. So clearly a one-man show, in my opinion, on offense. And hopefully the running back and the quarterback situation can better show up the offense for those guys. But their problem is they're going against a real great defense in the Generals defense, and we'll get into that in a little while lately. So let's take a look at some of the Generals. The Generals, in my opinion, man, these guys are just kind of getting it done all over the board. Of course, they still got that. Can't really say they have a 2-quarterback system going on, but they kind of still got the 2-quarterback system going on. This week was Luis Perez's start. Last week it was DeAndre Johnson's start, and they kind of keep him in the game, letting them get the full start, not going in, play in, play out. And now this week, Perez did a pretty decent job, and right now he's sitting with 750 passing yards and leads the team with 4 touchdowns right now. So, that's pretty good. But overall, I got to say the Generals are doing great offensively as well as in the passing game, because they're actually number 3 overall in the league in the passing game. And if you take a look at some of the reasons why, we'll see that their receiving core is pretty solid. But before we jump on the receiving core, we'll jump on that awesome, dynamite, just knock you over run game. So let's take a look at that right quick, guys. Pull that up right quick for you. Should have had it up already, a little slow. Man, I don't know if you guys have heard of Darius Victor, but Darius Victor is sitting with 437 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. Now, I believe the 6 rushing touchdowns, yep, that's number 1 in the league, guys. So, he's clearly getting it done. And I don't know if he knows anything about the guy, but he has these quads, these thighs about whatever. I think they measured them recently at about 38 or 28, 30, somewhere around there inches. Okay? That's the size of most people's waist. I don't know if you're 28 or you're 34 or 36, but that boy got some thighs, thighzilla. You know what I'm saying? With those thighs there. But that's the reason why the Generals have a very, very strong rushing game right now, with him leading the pack. And you can see it's not too shabby overall. Williams is getting there with 337 yards. And then like when DeAndre Johnson is in there, he's also putting some yards up on the field. Now, here's the thing. This rush game is the number 1 ranked rush game. I was trying to pull it up, guys. I really can't pull it up for you right quick. I can get it. Yeah, it's right here. Number 1 rush game in the league, bro. They're just getting it done. Averaging 165.7 yards per game. That's basically how it is. But overall, they're not too shabby, because they also, remember, number 3 in the passing game. Which brings us to our next guy. Let's take a look at him. And that would be the wide receiver. You know who I'm going to say? I'm going to pull him up, and that's Kevontae Turpin. Man, oh man. What is this? What's going on? Kevontae Turpin is just killing it all over the field, guys. He's number 1 in the league at 361 reception yards. It's got that right there down right? Yeah. Number 1 in the league at 361 reception yards. That's it right there. But he also is leading his team. He has 104 punt return yards, and he has actually 653 all-purpose yards, guys. So he's kind of like the one-man show, just like Trey Walker is over on the other side of the field against on the other team. He's kind of, balancing out that run game with the quarterback play and just getting it done at the wide receiver position. I do want to mention one more wide receiver. He's not really killing it on, I can't say he's not killing it. He's doing pretty good. I mean, his wide receiver stats, and I don't think I mentioned his name. That's Mr. Echoes Loper. Yeah, he's not, like I said, he's not really killing it. 5 games, only 3 targets. But where he's getting it done in is in the punt return game. And let me take a look at my notes, guys. You gotta forgive me. I'm gonna get smoother with this as time goes on, but every now and then I gotta look. Yeah, he's number 3 in USFL right now with kickoff return yards. Excuse me for saying punt returns a second ago. He has 435 kick return yards. And the reason why I want to bring him up is because if you take a look at the Generals in the punt return game, stat-wise, these guys are also number 1 in the league. So let me get it up here for you. Yeah, well, I don't have it on this stat. I'll find it. I'll settle down and I get it, but I got it written down right here. This is basically helping the Generals lead the USFL, who they basically currently tied with the Philadelphia Stars, who both average 27.3 kick return yards per attempt. So that's not too bad. I mean, they got some teams, number 2 teams, with these 2 teams, the Stars and Generals, are tied at number 1. They're sitting a couple of yards behind, but that's just good, consistent production, helps setting up this high-powered offense for success, and maybe that's the reason why, they're doing so well. I mean, number 1 overall, offensive-wise, and number 3 in the passing game. So let's just kind of continue moving a little bit forward, guys. And I know you can probably see this on the video. I'll probably block it out with something else, but hey, it is how it is right now. Let's just keep rolling. Let's take a look at the offense for these New Jersey Generals. Let's pull up the team comparison. And that's actually not what I wanted to pull up. I wanted to pull up this first. I'm going to show you about the Generals. The Pittsburgh offense, man, they're struggling. We're not even going to get into that. Defense is struggling. But as far as overall team stats, the Generals are doing pretty good. You can see right here, man, overall in the passing yards, they're also, like I said, they're 3rd overall in passing yards and 1st overall in rushing yards. But that defense, it's also getting them pretty good. They're averaging, basically allowing, where is it right here? I gotta pull up a different stat, guys. Hang on. There you go, 112 points allowed. And I have a different sheet for that. Let's take a look at it over here. I'll get smoother with this, don't worry about it. I'm gonna get it all together. So basically, the Generals number 1 in the USFL in points allowed. They're averaging 112 total points a game, which is about 16.0 average per game. And that's pretty good right now. So that's one of their strong suits on defense as well, to balance off that offense. And both teams are middle of the pack right now when it comes to 3rd downs, and I can get that back up. I'm back on track where I was. Got a little, all these different screens got me off center there, right there. Here we go. All right, this is what we wanted to look at: the team comparisons. And but like I said, I was saying about their points allowed. Number 1 for the Generals. Both teams are middle of the pack when it comes to my 3rd down percentage, which for me is a very important indicator. And New Jersey Generals basically sitting at 38.9, and the Pittsburgh sitting 36.5, and that's 4th and 5th, give or take. I think that's correct. 4th and 5th place in the league. And same thing with the turnover ratio percentage right now. They're also middle of the pack. And that is 4th for the New Jersey Generals, sitting at a +2, and 5th for the Pittsburgh Maulers sitting at a +1. So kind of look a little bit also. I want to touch on, I think I kind of covered everything. Opponent points per game, that's a big thing that we'll look at in a second when we talk about the team totals. But you can see it sitting right here at 23.4. Opponent points for the Generals are being allowed. For the Maulers, and 16.9 for the Generals being allowed. So that's pretty good there. Which brings us to our next part, guys. What we gonna pick? Who we got and what I got? So hang on while I get this screen down and get some other screens up, and I'll show that to you right quick. Alrighty, let's take a start looking at some of the odds here. I'm gonna start off with FanDuel. Try to make that a little bit bigger for you guys. I think you should be able to see it. I wish you get some of this other stuff out because you really just need to see what I'm talking about. And it's pretty much a simple thing. Overall, I'll give you my pick at the end of this, but let's kind of run through all three facets. Let's take a look at my first thing, my lean. Well, before we go into the lean, I just want you to know, I don't know if you guys can see my tabs up here, but unfortunately, I would use PointsBet or OddsJam or any site that would give me all my sports books in the package, but none of those sites are up and running that I'm aware of here in Louisiana just yet. I know PointsBet is working on theirs and they're going to email me once they get it up, but you need to have all of it. I'm not saying at the time. You got to use your common sense and look at all the different sport books available so you can get the best odds. For instance, this plus 8.5 at a -110 for the Maulers as an underdog. If you take a look at Caesars, it's at a +9 already, and that's at a -115. So that's a difference in value. And even though both of those I think are solid bets for this game, 8.5 and 9 is about what. You're still gonna need 9 to win, but that -115 is a little bit different as opposed to take a look at FanDuel at a -110, and I believe Barstool has had a pretty good one. Oh, that's the wrong site. MGM does that a lot to me. Changes up my sites. They had a 115, and then Barstool is at a 108. So as you can see, if you look at the different sport books, you can get different values. So if you were betting the Maulers as an underdog in this game, which I don't know who in their right mind would. Not a bad thing against the Maulers, but Generals are playing good ball right now. So that plus 8.5 would be a bad bet. But I'm just using it for an example. That -108 value, though, is what you want to try to look for if you were betting the Maulers. It's the same thing along with the favorite, the Generals, at a -185. -8.5. That's a -113 here on Barstool. As you can see, FanDuel got a little bit more juice on it at -115. FanDuel's at -110. So far, that's the best one on FanDuel. DraftKings is sitting currently, did it to me again here. I'll get that back up and fixed. And the worst one, of course, is at 9 at a -115. So you want to take a look at all your sport books, guys, and you want to get that stuff. How should I say? You want to make the best choice possible when putting your money out there. Use your common sense. You don't want to just bet whatever. Well, I looked at one sports book and they had it for whatever, and I took it for whatever. Compare your sports books. So with that said, the spread, like I said, is sitting there, and I'm actually leaning in this game on the spread. I don't think I'm going to pick it as of right now. Currently, I'm leaning towards that -8.5 at a -110. Currently on FanDuel, or the -113. A little bit more juice on it. But long as with that -8.5, I want that to be about right there for me. So books are not really giving a whole lot. A lot can happen in this game. New Jersey already has playoff spot sold up. I mean, they can get up big and just try to maybe coast down the thing, take out some starters. I mean, their mind is more or less on trying to win the championship of USFL as opposed to these last games. Of course, they want to finish first in their division. They don't want to give up that number one spot. So I can see them playing, but I can see them also putting in some subs later in the game after they get up. So I'm not too solid on that. I mean, I can see them being up by 9 points. Subs come in, and next thing you know, they barely win the game by 3 or less than 7 points. So I'm not too sold on that. Can they blow out the Pittsburgh Maulers? Yeah. I mean, the Maulers have lost 24-0. If you look at what they're scoring, 3 points here. I mean, just their average alone, points per game at 13.1 says a lot. These guys are not that good on offense. The stats that I just gave backs that up. But can they cover that spread? I don't know. So that's why I say to me it's more or less a lean on that one. I wouldn't want to put my money on it, but if I had to lean, I would definitely lean it. I wouldn't take anything over the 9. If it goes to 9.5 or whatever, I'm going to leave it alone. But at minus 8.5, no higher than minus 9, at a minus 110 or 113, 115 value is not too bad to lean on. Which brings us to the next look that we have, which is the money line. Now, the money line to me is sometimes one of my favorite, but it's also one of the most juiced areas when it comes to sports betting. I mean, you're going to get, especially in football, and a heavy favorite like the Generals going against the 1-6 Pittsburgh Maulers. And as you can see here on my screen, it's sitting at a minus 400, which is currently the best money line for the favorite Generals on all the sites. I mean, we got some as high as minus 475. I think I even saw a minus 525 already on one of the other sites. So, you know, if you're going to play that, that's a lot of juice. I mean, I don't know who in their right mind play that at minus 400. But here at Common Sense Bets, I do what I call a Common Sense Parlay. And the Common Sense Parlay is that if I like that money line, which to me, Generals will win this game, unless the Maulers get lucky, that minus 400, I will put in a 2-leg parlay. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about and probably will put money down on that along with the Bandits game, which is on Sunday, I believe. And that their money line on FanDuel is currently at a minus 230. And you got to show it to you right here. So you see down here, Tampa Bay is a minus 230. To me, that's what I call a common sense parlay. Excuse me, because we all know the more legs, the higher the chances of you not hitting it. I mean, I look at it like this. I like 2-leg parlays because I have 2 legs. God didn't give me 4 legs. He didn't give me 3 legs. And thank God he didn't give me 8 legs or 12. I see people walk out the casino with long slips. And I'm sure they hit every so often, every blue moon. And it's good money when they do. Nothing wrong with taking a chance on a long parlay. But if you bet like I do and I bet every single day, it's just not good for your money to put out too many legs. You know, it's just been proven scientifically that the less the legs, the better odds of you winning. I know I look down a lot, guys. Like I get used to looking at this camera, and I work that out. So when it comes to that parlay, you got to use common sense. Don't want to have too many legs to it, and I just try to stick to the 2-leg value because I'm a human being. I have 2 legs. So if I parlay that minus 400 along with the minus 230 there for the Bandits, which I do believe will win that game against the Gamblers, because they're trying to hang in there and stick with my Breakers trying to get in that playoffs. So they're playing hard, crazy ball, up and down ball, but they're still playing hard. So I believe they'll win that. So to me, that's a good parlay. And at the end of the day, that minus 400 and that minus 230 currently on FanDuel will give you a nice little bet at a minus 127 value. Which is not too bad, you know. I mean, a little bit of juice on it, but still playable for good value. I mean, I normally play things up to a minus 135, maybe a minus 140, but I kind of get a little squeamish there and start normally sticking minus 140s on a 2-leg common sense parlay. So that's the only way I would play the money line in this particular game, guys, and that would be that 2-leg parlay, which brings us to the last area, and that's the game total, or as we like to say, the over and under, which you clearly can see is sitting at 42.5. Now, I've seen 42, over on DraftKings, and I've also seen 43. Let me take a look. Yep, there it is right there. On BetMGM, it's 43.5 at a minus 115. But I'm liking this. I'm liking two of them. I'm actually liking Barstool, which is sitting at a 42.5 for the under at a minus 108 and a minus 113 for the over, which is not bad value, guys, at all. And if you kind of take a look at the games that we've had so far this year, you can kind of maybe see a little trend going on. I mean, right now we do have the number one rated offense, okay, going against a very, very low, if not one of the lowest rated defenses, okay. I can see them getting up big and holding on to the ball. My only concern with the total is if they get up big, I'm sure the Generals are going to rest some players. They don't want people to get hurt. A few games left in the season. They want to, finish everybody healthy to try to have a run for that championship. So I am a little bit concerned about the over. I think that the Generals can definitely hit their over, which all they need is about 22 points. And 21 points, because it's 42.5 or 22 really. They're averaging 21.7 points per game, the Generals. But the problem with the over comes in the other side of the ball, the Maulers. I mean, not only are they suffering on defense, defense is probably the better part of their team. Their offense is really not helping them that much at all. So where the points are going to come from on that side of the ball, they're averaging 13.1 points per game. So I wouldn't fool with the over, but the under, as you can tell so far, kind of calling me a little bit. It's kind of enticing me because let's take a look at it. I mean, the Generals go out and do their average, 21.7. Let's say even the Maulers have a pretty good game. They'll have to score 7 to 8 points more than their average to get that 42. I mean, they'll need 22. The Maulers need 22. They need 21. Any combination of those numbers, I just don't see them getting it against this solid, very highly rated defense of the Generals. So, I mean, all of a sudden they're going to get it together. The Generals are trying to ice this season out, finish on top of their division. I mean, come on. I just don't see it happening. But also, let's take a look at the opposite side of that. Let's take a look at the points allowed. Generals have allowed 16.8 points. So they're allowing within Maulers' average 13.1, but I can't see them allowing more than that against this team. So I can see them holding them to under, if not at the average of 16.8 allowed, to under that. And as I said, if you look at the games from the Maulers, I mean, they were shut out. They scored 3 points here. They scored 6 points there. I think another game they might have scored 12 or 14, but they're clearly on average scoring less than the 21 or 22 points they would need to hold their bargain for the over. It leans, once again, looking more like they'll help contribute to the under. Put that along with the fact that they allow 23.4 points a game, that being the Maulers, which is right in line with the average of the Generals and what they do score per game. But once again, I can see the Generals building a lead. Now, whether that lead is 9 points or more, I'm not certain with that spread. Generals just want to win this game, no injuries, and get out with a win and get ready for next week because they got their mind on playoffs. You know that already. Got the semifinals coming up, and they already got a spot secured in them. So their mind is on that. So I can see them getting the lead and using that defense just to hold down the Maulers and run that clock down and using that running game to just grind the clock down. So I can see them, helping keep this score pretty low. I mean, overall, points per game for both of these teams on average for all the games they had is about 40.2. If you do all the math, add the numbers up, sitting at 40.2 overall, total points for both combined. So that also is a stat that's saying under, because the over-under is 42.5. So that's clearly coming in a little about 2 points or so below. So with all that said, guys, and I know I'm a little speechy and explaining, but hey, I'll get better and smoother with time. I don't care. I'm just doing me right now, trying to get information to you, and I hope it's helpful. But the number one thing I'm going to do with, and I guess I'm about to say, I'm going to lean on the spread. I'm going to go with the favorite there at a minus 8.5 or no higher than the minus 9 at about a 110, 113 value. If I'm going to do the money line, I'm going to put that in a common sense parlay, which is be a 2-leg parlay. But the pick for the show, and I'm going to put 1 unit on that, and I'm going to put that 1 unit on the under of 42.5 at a minus 108 on Barstool. So guys, I don't have all the graphics up yet and everything, so get your pen and paper out and write all that stuff down. I should have told you sooner to get the pen and paper out, so that way you can write down my little notes that while I was talking. But once again, that's 42.5, the under, and that's going to be the pick for the show. And before I get done with the show, guys, as a quick reminder, if you like all the hard work I'm putting in, as you can see, I'm over here grinding. I'm trying to get stats up on the board and get some graphics and little stuff reading on the thing and really set this show up better. Just give me a little bit more time. I'm working on it every single day. But remember, if you're liking the show so far and you stuck with it this long, hit that subscribe button, man. It will do a big help to this show. It will help us grow. It will help, me with all the hard work, the ups and the downs, the trials and tribulations I'm going through, trying to get this information out to you guys and learning how to be a better handicapper, not only for myself, but for you as well. Because remember, at the end of the day, we in this together, right? It's us against the sports books. So any bit of help that I can give you, any common sense I can remind you to use, this is what this show is all about. So I hope you like the content. Hit that like button if you do. It helps others see, helps the show grow. It helps me know that, there are people out there that, liking the hard work and dedication I'm showing in the show, and hopefully I'm helping you guys win some money at the same time. So once again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, man. Help us grow to 1,000 subscribers. Join that Common Sense Bets army. Become a Common Sense Bet soldier. And keep riding with me, man. Look forward to the next video coming out on the big game this weekend between the number 2 matchup, round 2, with the Birmingham Stallions and my New Orleans Breakers. Until that next video, guys, once again, this is Common Sense Bets. I am J.K. Wilson. Deuces.